Hello again. It's day 4 of the PAX video marathon, and today I present to you Edwin from Myskin Entertainment, who's going to talk about their game Death of a Partisan. This is a single-player narrative survival game about resistance set during wartime of World War II on the Eastern Front. After seeing so many different World War II based shooters in my childhood, I was interested to talk to Edwin about a more narrative-focused game set in that time period. Enjoy!
Hello everyone, this is Edwin from his game Death of the Partisan. I know we just talked about it just before, but yeah, give me a brief... Yeah, thank you. Give me a brief overview of your game, just kind of... I'm sorry I'm asking you the same question again, but just, yeah, give me a bit of an overview.
Sure, yeah, I'll hopefully get it better the second time. So it's called Death of a Partisan. As you might have guessed from the image, it's set in World War II in the Soviet Union. It takes place in early 1942 in this particularly harsh winter. So you play a Soviet soldier who's been stranded and cut off after the invasion of Germany 6 months earlier, and you're now hiding out in these sort of very desolate, wintry landscapes, trying to survive as best you can.
Okay, nice. So, why did you make this game? Was there a certain story you want to tell? Did you have a particular interest in the history of World War II? Do you have any kind of cultural or familial ties to that period of time? What was the inspiration? Where's the passion?
Yeah, so I've always had a bit of a fascination with World War II. I can't say exactly where it comes from. I guess it's a common one, a lot of people do. But this particular game, the inspiration really started from a couple of films that I saw years ago that were from the Soviet Union, made in the kind of 1950s and 60s era, where a few of these black and white films about the war, often in winter, featuring these kind of very bleak landscapes and stories that had a very kind of honest telling of stories about what the war was like for people, in a way that's really didn't glorify it at all. Really went into the personal details of it. So the idea originally was basically trying to create a game that would evoke the feeling of one of these old films. So that was the choice to do it in black and white, and to feature a lot of open white space and that sort of thing.
I'm sorry, Russ, it's doing this thing. Just check that it's all right. Is that fine?
Yeah, it looks fine.
I don't know. Well, I was just checking.
That's all right.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Still good?
Yeah, it's all good. Okay, so obviously you're trying to evoke a certain feeling and emotion. It's more of a character-driven. You're experiencing this through the soldier, and it's like this kind of a bleak look rather than more of a romanticized look of what World War II has sometimes been portrayed as, and more reflective of what you're seeing in these kind of earlier film adaptations in the 1950s. Have I gone on the right track? Summarized, or?
Yeah, that's right. So trying to tell a story that's a bit more intimate, personal and character-based. So it'll be a relatively small cast of characters, but a bit more detailed. And the story will be following this smaller scale, trying to show a bit of what life was like maybe for the civilians who had been left behind in these villages that had been raided or burnt down, refugees who were trying to escape, and a bit of a look at the more human stories that you don't often get in games and films that are about the big sort of military conflict involving huge armies. So yeah, trying to take a smaller look at a more personal, emotional story.
What kind of consultation did you do to kind of curate a story like this? So obviously you're considering things of historical elements that you're putting into the game, what things look like, just looking at some of the animations that I was saying on the screen before. Some of the gun animations look quite intricate, so it's not just bring it down, bring it back up. It's there's a bit of care gone into that. Did you interview people specifically? Tell me about that process of getting all the information together to make sure the game at least represented some level of historical accuracy.
Yeah, we are really trying to make something that, even if we're telling a fictional story, feels authentic and is based on real testimonies in history. So working with a historian who did his PhD in this specific period, and part of it about partisans in Belarus during this time. So there's a lot of, I haven't done personally interviews, but part of his PhD was being there and interviewing survivors and family members who had these real testimonies about what life was like. And then, yeah, like you mentioned, with things like animations, really looking at how the weapons actually work. So adding little details that you sometimes don't see, like putting the safety on the rifle before putting it away and that kind of thing, to add a sense of this authentic experience of interacting with the world and the objects in it.
That's really cool, thank you. Have you worked on other projects beforehand? Is this your first solo or kind of small team project, or has this been, have you always been a developer, or is this something you've done more recently?
It's more recent in terms of my whole life, I guess. It feels like a long time, but I'm a composer, musician by trade, so I studied music for films and done a bit of music for video games, which is how I got into making games. So I've made a few smaller scale projects before that began as really just ways of experimenting with writing music in an interactive way. So kind of reactive music systems that were built in a game engine. So they're sort of, I'd hesitate to call them a game exactly, but experimental music-based interactive little things, which was part of how I learnt using Unity, which I'm building this game in. So this is the first time I'm attempting to make a proper, full-sized game with a lot of, gameplay mechanics in it.
Well, I really appreciate your time, Edwin, and everything you've talked about with Death of the Partisan. Is there anything else we haven't talked about you want to mention that you think is worth capturing, specifically about your game?
Well, I was just going to say it's been a really great experience being here at PAX, and it's the first time I've shown anything here, and first time I've shown this game at all. I've kind of been doing it completely in my own bubble and haven't shared it on social media at all yet. So I was kind of apprehensive of how people might react to this thing that felt like a very specific niche thing to entertain myself. So it's been really rewarding seeing people engage with it, and everyone's been super positive. So
that's awesome.
It's great.
That's really good. I guess one last one. Expected release date, Steam or otherwise?
Yeah, good question. So it's not on Steam yet. Still working out how best to describe what the game is. So that'll probably go up early next year. But the full game is maybe, I'm guessing, 2 years away from being finished.
Yeah.
So it's still a little while off.
We're really seeing an alpha dev build at the moment, I'm assuming, in the background.
Yeah, definitely. What I'm showing here is kind of the first half of the first demo. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah.
So a bit of a while to go.
It's, early days still.
Yeah, perfect. Well, thank you very much. You have a great SEO PAX. Really appreciate the interview.
Thank you. Yeah, good to talk to you.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Edwin.